this is the Super Mario Brothers movie. Again, we're looking at a movie here that is aesthetically, visually, absolutely perfect.
It looks so good. The fact that they were able to bring this world of Mario to life, and like his overalls, his hat, his mustache, all looks very much like the games, but it has this realistic texture to it, which I think is really cool. Yeah, this movie literally on Wednesday and Thursday, like early preview screenings, made $67 million on Wednesday and Thursday, not even its wide release day. So if it was already
It's
making that
insane.
much on Wednesday, Thursday screenings, I think that was like, I think I saw like a statistic that's like double, triple like what the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo
Oh
movie
God,
made.
I mean it's incomparable
Yeah.
to that movie. It is absolutely incomparable to that movie. But I think, um, I think we'll know by the time this episode comes out on Monday. But it might be on track to be the highest opening for an animated movie
Yeah.
ever. Which is staggering, really, because really it's. I don't think it's that good. I mean, look, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed watching this movie. I think there was a lot that could have been done more in this movie than was
Yeah.
done. I think it was restricted by its own desire to be a kids movie, because it is a kids movie. I mean,
Yes. And
we say animated movies aren't just for kids. We say animated movies, yes, okay, usually fall under the brand of family movies and things like this. I don't even necessarily think this is a family movie, because I think the humor in here is very much aimed at kids. There's not really any inside adult jokes in there like you
yeah.
get in a lot of animated
But
movies, a
even
lot of
stuff like
animated
Despicable
family
Me,
movies.
I felt like
Yeah,
had more bits of kind of adult humor in mixed in there.
definitely,
Um,
definitely.
so I think
This
there was
is
an opportunity for that, but I don't know, like if they were maybe held back by Nintendo wanting to keep things
quite
very much kid
possibly.
friendly and not wanting to rock that boat at all. So who knows if they had any kind of restrictions um from Nintendo, because Nintendo, this was their, after that terrible movie, they were very much like, we are never really going to lend out our properties. We're never going to make another version of our properties after this movie. And that soured them on the whole experience of really making Nintendo character based movies, um, especially with their biggest character. So I think they were maybe kind of trying to be a little bit cautious, so maybe that's what held it back from really being crossing the bridge of children and adults. But I think what keep is going to keep adults entertained is the fact that the adults are the people who grew up playing these games.
Yeah,
So those
and it
aspects and
because it
Easter eggs,
looks
yeah,
so
are going to hold
perfect, and
them.
because
Yeah.
everything within it is such a perfect movie depiction of everything Super Mario,
Yeah.
like down to the Mario Kart, to Rainbow Road, to Donkey Kong Jungle Kingdom, to all Bowser's Castle stuff, to the Dark Skeleton Lands with all the skeleton Koopas coming
Yeah.
back to life and all
Yes.
this kind of stuff. All the pipe works and all the pipe
Yes,
movement,
the
the attitude,
boxes, the
all
puzzle
the toads
boxes. Yeah.
being really kind of weak and feeble, but kind of lovable at the same time.
Yes, and fierce
The
and
power up boxes, like you say, Peach's Castle, everything just
everything.
being a phenomenal movie depiction of
Recreation
its
and yeah.
game counterpart.
Yeah.
That is what keeps people like me really, really enjoying this movie and just seeing, I just want to see more of this. I
How they
wanted to
bring this
see
to
so much
life.
more of it.
And there were so many fun little things in the background. I think there's like a pizzeria called Punch Out Pizzeria for the like old Nintendo Punch Out game.
Okay.
And just fun little things to just Nintendo in general that were just kind of floating around this movie. The score, the way they peppered in the
Yes.
iconic
It's
music
so
from the
good.
games into the score was so great. Like the star music. that,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah. At the end, do you mean? In the
yes,
big
yes.
final fight with
So I
Bowser.
guess we can say, typically on our reviews we do get into spoilers. So yes, we
It's
will
also a
be.
children's movie about Super Mario Brothers. You
So
know how this
well,
is gonna
probably how it's
go.
gonna end. So yes, spoiler talk in this review. Yes, the and I will say something I didn't care for was just how sidelined Luigi was, because you're calling this the Super Mario Brothers movie. So yes,
He is
while
very
Mario
he's very, very sidelined.
so
He is.
while I think it's kind of just like, yeah, you expect it because that's kind of Luigi's lot in life. Um
He's in prison for most of the movie.
yes, I mean the games are called the Super Mario Brothers games, and that's
It's
kind of,
always Mario.
yes. So it's very much not an uncommon thing to have Luigi be sidelined, but there was a lot of peppering in of their relationship as brothers and them working together, and Mario really being this protector. And I loved those brotherly moments with the two of them, like, if we're together, we can do anything kind of mantra they have that comes back.
Yeah.
And the little flashback of of Luigi getting picked on and Mario coming and helping him, like those things were
Little
really.
baby Mario and
Yes,
Luigi without
those things
mustaches.
really got to me, when their father kind of criticizes Mario and blames him for, taking Luigi down with him, and Luigi really coming and bringing him a plate of food and just trying to encourage his brother. Like, those brotherly moments really, like, I was feeling stuff, like, I was really emotional.
Yeah, I will admit they did work very, very well. I think it's a great movie, to be fair, for like young children brothers to see.
Yeah.
Say if you're like 10 and you've got like a 7-year-old brother or something like that, I think it'd be so good
I don't know
for
if it would be good for you
to
and
see.
your brother, but
Not maybe it wouldn't be good for me and my brother now, to be honest. But let's not sit down and
you
watch
guys,
the Super
you
Mario
guys, I
Brothers.
don't think you guys have that type of relationship.
But
You guys are completely different people.
we could do. I mean, we could do.
I don't see your
We've
brother getting.
played Super Mario Brothers enough, to be fair, and Mario Kart and
Yeah.
all these kind of
Would
things.
would it be a moment where he'd turn to you and give you like an emotional brotherly look?
Probably not. No, probably not. But I think it's a really good movie for that kind of uh
Yeah, it's so sweet. Those moments
familial.
really got me. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Um, Story wise, it's very basic. You're just dealing with Bowser. Well, Bowser supposedly trying to take over the Mushroom Kingdom. No, what Bowser actually wants is to show off the fact he's got the superstar, the invincible, shiny, twizzly
Yeah.
star that makes you go invincible for a limited period of time, like in the games.
Yeah.
He wants to show this off to Peach because he's in love with Peach.
Yes.
When has this ever happened before? Is this why he kidnaps her all the time?
Yes, he kidnaps her all the time and they never explain why. So we got kind of some insight as to why he's always kidnapping
This
her. He's in
why?
love with her. He wants her to marry him. He's singing ballads about her. So
Use Jack Black when you've got him.
yeah, so I kind of liked that. And I liked when they were playing the do-do-do-do-do-do, like
Yes, on the little.
do-do-do-do-do-do.
What does he say? He's singing. Jack Black's Bowser singing this ridiculously romantic ballad about Peach.
Peaches, 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 peaches. Yeah.
And it's so good. Like I said, use Jack Black
Yeah.
when you've got him, having sing silly songs with
Yeah.
powerful vocals. But then the little wizard Cooper, whatever he's
Yeah, his
supposed
little
to be
minion
called, I
assistant.
forget the
Yeah.
name, comes in. Bowser just annoyed by him throughout the entire movie, really. And then he just sits next to him on the piano, and Bowser's just like, "Jam with me," and he just on the
Yeah.
piano. And it's just
So
it's
good.
Mario music.
Yes. Yeah, it's
It's
great.
while they're talking about their
Their
plans
plan.
to fly to here and do whatever and
Yeah.
threaten the Mushroom Kingdom if she doesn't agree to marriage. Um, I just think I wanted to see more of it. I almost want to see. I want to see a sequel
Well,
to
I
this.
mean, again, yeah, spoilers. There was a post-credit scene. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, I don't know why you'd be watching this review because I just said spoilers if you really care that
Yes, you
much.
did.
Um there is a post-credit scene. So stay till the end and you will see a you go back to that they're in like the sewer area where they actually initially found the pipe.
Yeah.
Um you see a Yoshi egg and the egg cracks and then you hear like a like
I
Yoshi
was
like
actually
cooing
disgusted that
sound.
Yoshi wasn't in this movie.
Yeah, so we do see the Yoshi creatures in, in passing.
We do, yes,
So
we do.
that's but yes, we officially get a Yoshi egg cracking and hear the little Yoshi baby noise. And go fade to black at the end. So
Maybe this is just my fondness for kind of like a lot of Mario characters based around my fondness for Mario Kart and extensive Super Mario Brothers games, because really, what characters do you get? You get Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, Bowser. No Yoshi, apart from in the post credits. Okay. Then that's not even really Yoshi, is it? Because that's just
the egg
Yoshi, the
cracking
birth
open.
of Yoshi.
Yeah.
No Wario or Waluigi, where are they?
Well, I mean, they didn't come till later sequels anyway, so if we're gonna get more
Don't care.
movies.
If we're gonna get more movies, fine. If we're gonna get more movies, fine. And oh
Yes,
my
why
god,
would you bring all that into this first movie though? This is the first
because I
movie.
want
This
to
is
see it
Mario.
all.
This is Mario learning about this world. When
I
we meet
want
all
to
those
see
other
it
people,
all.
Mario's been a part of this Mushroom Kingdom and all this Mario world for like a long time already.
I
So,
wanted to see everything.
well, we
That's
got to see a
why.
lot of all the Diddy Kong, Donkey
Diddy
Kong
Kong
game
was there,
things.
yes.
Yeah.
King Boo, he showed up at the wedding in the background. I like that.
I couldn't stop
Uh,
laughing. He just looked so ridiculous. This fake
Who?
ghost.
King Boo?
Yes, because
Why?
he's just there with that expression, this just like, and he's just
With his
huge.
tongue out just because he's a huge ghost with a crown.
He just looked huge, and he was just there. Like every time you saw him in the crowd, it just made me laugh. We had that bomb king as well. So when he got lit on
Yes.
fire, he's like, oh, no, he didn't know
Oh
what to do.
no, I'm gonna explode.
Yes.
Um,
Just so many fun things. I will say, uh, I was okay with the explanation they gave as to why they're not speaking like how they speak in the games that they were doing in the commercial. And
yeah,
then
no, I was, yes, I was also pleased about that, because while I wanted to hear that accent and that
um
vocal cadence, I did.
I
It
didn't
it, it
actually look
would have
was
been a bit too much.
well, I didn't actually look, but I just kind of assumed is the guy who was like who's the guy who told them to do that, the original like Mario voice actor or something. Because there was a guy like on our there we play the commercial at the beginning, then we kind of come out of the commercial and show Mario and Luigi watching it at the
Yes.
pizzeria, and there's a guy playing an arcade game next to him, and he's like, "Are you sure like the voices were okay?" And he was like, "Oh yes, I think it's great." And he's like wearing our
It
overalls and a
might
hat.
have been.
So
It
I
might
didn't
have
actually look
been.
it up, but I assume maybe that was like the original voice, and
I've
he
no
was kind of
idea
the
if
one
it's
who told them.
not. If it's not, it's somebody doing a very good impression of Mario in his
Yes.
voice.
Uh, so yeah, and I like getting them in the real world enough, and then we jump right into kind of the magical world right away. We saw a little bit of their home family life and their dynamic as brothers. We actually see them go on a plumbing job and just everything kind of going wrong for them.
Like,
So I like
also, can I just point out they're clearly not that old either? You know,
no,
Mario and Luigi. Like, they look like they're in the 40s, but they're clearly like 22 or
yeah, and they
something
live with
like that.
they live at home with their parents and with their family and
I bet Luigi's not even 20.
no,
You know,
he's probably
you
like
know,
19 still. They got these
but
mustaches as
he
well.
looks like he's in his early 40s with this mustache and this plumbing garb.
Yes. So yeah, getting to see them kind of in the real world a little bit was fun. I also loved them trying to get to that plumbing job, and we get to already see right
Yes.
away. They show like how agile Mario is, and he's like opening the doors for Luigi and throwing down ladders, so it's like easy for him, and putting down like walkways for him to cross as he kind of just breezes through it. So we already see him get to be agile and jumping and hopping and parkouring.
There's
So
really good
yeah.
scenes of platforming in the game as well, in the
Yes.
movie, uh,
Mhm.
as well, that they really kind of seamlessly put in there, of it
Yeah.
being very obviously, "Oh, this just looks like you're playing Super Mario Brothers now as we're watching this
Like, yeah,
movie."
this whole side scroll scene was, like, really fun.
It's really,
Um,
really good.
and then when he does that obstacle course, we obviously get kind of this three-dimensional look at all of these different booby traps and things, the fire turning things and those platforms that
Yes,
that
yeah.
fall out from under you and,
The
uh,
the
the
Plant
bombs and
Venus flytrap things.
yes. So all of the little traps and fun things and the power-ups and, they set up that he hates mushrooms, and so he has to keep eating
Yeah.
mushrooms to grow and go through it. Yes, I loved him learning it and learning the world and all the little nods to things and the
The fight with
coins and
Donkey Kong, that's
yes,
obviously perfect of their relationship and their dynamic
throwing
that
him
they
throwing barrels.
yeah.
Yeah, mhm.
Donkey Kong's a good guy, but kind of evil at the start,
Yeah,
and then becomes, a hero eventually, and they're obviously friends.
yeah.
Him and Mario, but at the beginning, in the games, it was all Donkey Kong throwing the barrels down the ladders and all that kind of stuff, and you're having to avoid them
Have to
all, wasn't it?
yeah, so I love the nods to that. Those were really fun. And we do get a bit of Mario Kart, them building their carts, I thought was a fun scene
Yes,
and them on the Rainbow
definitely.
Road and uh
I was a little bit actually yes, okay. The whole Mario Kart sequence, it had to be on Rainbow Road. I mean, Rainbow Road has been the one consistent throughout every single iteration of Mario Kart. You've had a
yeah.
Rainbow Road. But there's so many great Mario Kart circuits, like, put one other in there. Like, put even like a real classic one um in there, like an old like Mario circuit, like really
Yeah.
original Mario Kart tracks in there.
The haunted house one was always my
Or the haunted house, yes,
favorite.
or the Bowser Castle ones, the
Yeah.
haunted whatever. I mean, Yoshi Falls is always a good one. That's just the circle one.
Oh, yes, Peach's Castle is also one, I
Peach's
think.
Castle, you could have had a Peach's Castle race at the very end. Just have them. Oh, let's have a
See them
race now on
going.
Peach's Castle
Yeah. I would
or
have also
something
loved
like
to
that.
see so if somebody fell off the bridge, that little kind of turtle that with the fishing pole on the
Yes,
cloud that brings
yes,
you up and puts you back on the track.
yes, definitely. Because we do get people falling off Rainbow Road.
Yeah, so, like, see someone take, like, a one up and, like, so then the thing kinda comes and gets you and pulls you back up on the track.
Yes, we do
Yeah, that
see
would have
that.
been fun. So,
But no, the Mario Kart stuff's really fun. Every little bit of this movie is really, really fun. It does absolutely nail what it wants to be.
yeah.
Um, I just want more, and that's where it turns from almost being a really great, animated movie to just being good to me. It's not quite great because it felt like it was lacking certain things,
Yeah.
and that from a story point of view, because it wanted to be a clean 90 minutes to,
Appease the
presumably
children.
keep the seven-year-old's focus.
Yeah.
Because the screening I went to, I mean, I know it was Easter weekend, so there's no school or anything like that, but it was absolutely rammed full, this screening.
Yeah, mine was too. It was packed with kids.
Like, I do not think there was an empty seat, and ridiculously this is how you know something's just gonna be make massive, massive money.
Yeah.
When something like that happens on a completely random time. Um on a Friday. You
Yeah.
know, it's going to make, when I went and seen it, it was going to make a lot of money. So I can only hope and I can only wish for more development in sequels of this.
Yes, and get more into the world and everything. Because yeah, I loved everything I saw visually as someone who played. Like, I didn't play a ton of the later games, but there was enough there that I really got a lot out of in terms of somebody growing up playing these games from old ass Nintendo, from the very start to Mario Brothers 3 and Mario Kart, and that's kind of as
Yeah,
far as
I
I
mean,
got in terms of
I'm
Mario games, and Donkey Kong Country a little bit. But
yeah,
so there was a lot there for me as kind of a older fan who kind of was into the earlier parts of Mario. So I'm sure there was a ton more things that spoke to people who were later fans of other aspects of Mario and newer aspects of Mario. So there was something in there for any era of Mario playing fan, I think. Um, which was just really fun to see, and like you said, it just makes you want to see more. While the humor and things, there were things that did make me chuckle. And while I feel like it could have leaned into a few things that were kind of for that adults would pick up on in terms of the humor. I was just so engrossed in the world that I was able to kind of not really care that it wasn't super catering to me in terms of the story.
yeah. Mm, I completely agree. I also really just like how we were able to go to all the different kind of realms
Yeah,
of the Mario games that we see. We went underwater. We went to
yeah,
the dark skeletal forest areas. We went obviously in Bowser's castle and around there, and Bowser's lava filled
yeah,
land, floating land. Obviously your typical Mushroom Kingdom of all bright green and colourful. The Donkey Kong's Jungle Kingdom. The only thing we
yeah.
didn't get was any snow or
No,
sand
we got
or anything
snow.
like that. Did we get snow?
We
Where was
open
the
in the
snow?
snow, the very opening. When he
We
attacks
open in
those
the snow.
penguins. When he attacks those
Oh, in the
penguins.
penguins. Yes, that's right.
And we do go through the desert when they're traveling to Donkey Kong Country. So we see places,
We didn't
familiar
spend
places,
much
and so
time
we didn't
there.
spend much time there. But no, we're going through other locations in the game. I would have loved to have the little whistle that do 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 that like whisks you to where you need to go, be a part of it. When you get the magic whistle,
Yes.
I would have loved that
Yes.
being used. Like if they
I
find
I
it at a
also
certain point and it like takes them straight there.
I also did want, admittedly, to see in the end. I mean, I suppose it was always going to be kind of because it was all about the invincible superstar that Mario and Luigi were going to end up getting that, and that's how they took down Bowser. But what about one of the big orange mushrooms that makes you enormous?
Oh, yeah.
We want one of those because you
Yes.
got a little tiny blue
You got a little
mushroom that makes
tiny
you
one.
tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
We never actually saw Mario get to fire flower Mario either. We got fire flower Peach in the
Yeah.
movie, with the white and red outfit where you can
Mhm.
throw fire. We didn't
Yeah.
get fire flower Mario. That's a pretty
No, so
famous
something else to kind
attire.
of, more things
There's
to just
plenty of things they can do.
yes, to work towards and see in later films. I will say with the voice cast, like, while it wasn't bad, I feel like the only one really putting a lot of effort was Jack Black. Everyone else was kind of being fairly normal with their voice work and not really putting a whole lot of, something different or putting on a voice really. They kind of felt like they were mostly just doing their natural kind of speaking voices. So I liked
A
that,
little bit, yeah.
yeah.
For the most part, I do think Charlie Day does work as a Luigi, though.
Yeah, yes,
He's
because
kind
he's
of
very
chaotic and a
excitable and
little
chaotic.
sweet.
Yes, so he doesn't have to do much. I think there was a bit of an effort to put a little bit of that kind of Italian tone under it, but not a ton.
Yeah.
So I feel like the only one who really was putting on a performance with their accent was Jack Black. Everyone else was
I
kind
think
of keeping
that's
it pretty simple. So, and I like that at least they tried to explain why Mario and Luigi weren't talking like this the whole time. So, I'm glad they at least addressed it, because had they just not
yeah,
talked like that, it would have been weird. Um,
yeah. I enjoyed the movie.
yes,
I enjoyed the movie. It is the most children's animated movie I've seen in a long while.
yeah, but I think there was enough game nostalgia there for you to really have
There
fun with it.
was. a hundred
Yes,
percent there was, and it's made me want to see another one of them and
yes,
another one
definitely.
after that if
Yeah,
it carries on like this, because I will never grow tired of seeing various styles
and
of
yeah,
and areas within the world of Super Mario.
and come to life in this really lush kind of three-dimensional way, with
Yeah,
textures and colors and all of that. And the needle drops I think were fun too, of course, very much you see in kids' movies,
they kind of
familiar
were.
songs.
Yeah,
I had fun with hearing, I Need a Hero and stuff like that popping in there, and familiar songs. So,
you
um,
never you're always at a loss though with I Need a Hero. We've already talked in this episode about the glories
yeah.
of Shrek 2. You are always at a loss in an animated movie if you try and use that song after Shrek 2.
Shrek, yes, no, because you're just gonna think of that version, which was so well done. Just one last thing to kind of speak to is, um, I think what's happening with Rotten Tomatoes. This film is really kind of showing the lack of I don't know how to describe it. The lack of understanding with film critics on talking about films in a more universal way. Yes, your personal opinion is going to come into your opinions, or your reviews of a movie, but I think you also have to take into consideration the audience your movie was made for.
Of
So
course you do.
this movie having such a low critic score, I think it's because these critics, and if you read some of these reviews, they're not taking into consideration that this movie was essentially made for kids. And so they're criticizing it without thinking about that. Like, you're not going to take a Michelin star critic who's out to give your restaurant a Michelin star to McDonald's. Like, you know?
No, you know.
So you have to consider who the audience is for the movie in your review. Yes, you can say it didn't speak to me in a certain way, but for kids, for families, for fans of the game, this movie definitely will entertain you, and speak to those things that, fans enjoy. But to just outright, say that it doesn't have a good story and all of these things, uh,
It does have a good story. Its story is very basic, and like I said, its story I wanted more from its story, but you have to think
yeah,
of what the movie wants to be, and is the movie a pretty nailed on example of what it wants to be? Does it deliver on exactly what it wanted to do? And as far as everybody else in that cinema screening that I was in was acting at the very end of the movie, yes, it damn well did.
yeah, I had people clapping and cheering at the end of the movie. So,
All
yeah, for
these
it to
kids
have,
were very excitable throughout this movie. Let
yes,
me tell you, they wouldn't shut up throughout
yes,
this movie, which was very annoying
I didn't have
watching the
kids,
movie and
yeah, I didn't have kids
hearing.
getting distracted or being bored or crying or leaving. All
No,
the kids
no,
seemed
no, no, no.
engaged and having fun. So
I mean, they
yeah,
were shouting. They were talking about the movie, though. So,
yes.
they
So
weren't
so they
just
were very much
shouting for
engaged.
nonsense sake.
So for the fact that it just has this low tomato meter score in terms of critics is just,
Who cares?
it's just really showing like how these people just don't, you know, are not really factoring a lot of things into their reviews of movies, which is a bit of a letdown in terms of them seeing being a critic as a job. Like, this is your job
Listen,
to talk about film. So I think you have to have kind of yes, subjective nature is going to come into it, of course, but I think you also have to, uh, you know, be critical about it. Have a critical mind about uh, taking in all aspects of what a film is bringing to the table. So,
listen. m- Film critics are very, very important.
yes.
They are. They will never not be, as far as I'm concerned. And I think I almost think it's less of an issue with critics being critics, because critics are there for their own personal opinion, and you read or listen to that
Yeah.
particular opinion, you watch them talk about their particular opinion, and you gauge from that what may be interesting or not interesting in any given piece of media for you. The problem is sites like Rotten Tomatoes, which aggregate things and give you this is 42%. So therefore, it's trash bag.
It's
Which
rotten. Yeah.
no. This is what the issue is. I think if you actually perhaps read, and I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to people. I
Yeah.
think if people actually perhaps read or listened to or watched genuine, respected, dedicated critics, actual professionals talk about this in a logical way, and weren't just saying like, because I don't think this movie is a game-changing movie. I don't think this movie is a
No.
life-changing movie. I just think this movie is a really damn good children's movie
Yeah.
and a perfect movie interpretation of the world of Super Mario, like aesthetically.
Yeah.
But I think the story isn't that interesting, but it doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be, because it's playing to 8-year-olds
Yeah.
who want basic things, who need that to be engaged. They can
Yeah.
develop onto more complex narratives as they
As it
get
goes along.
older.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we don't need that. So me watching it now, or some 50-year-old, 60-year-old critic somewhere watching it now, who's so obviously constantly watching complex narratives and things like that in these metaphorical movies, whatever it may be. And we do this on the main show and things like this. I think it's contextualized. It needs to be contextualized. So I really hate Rotten Tomatoes and the discourse around it,
Yeah.
because I think it should just be find critics that you respect and that are
Yeah.
clearly objective and
And speak
clearly
to like
reasonable,
things. Yeah. And
but
speak to
but
things
that
that you
aren't
enjoy.
just, oh my god, that aren't just feeders of what you want to hear either.
Yeah.
Because absolutely, I disagree starkly with some of my most respected movie critics about certain things. I disagree with you about a lot of things. Like,
Yeah. I
some
mean,
of
if
my
you watch
favorite
some of
movies are just like things you wouldn't go anywhere
yes,
near.
I mean, if you
And
watch some
likewise,
old reviews of, I think I saw some old review of uh 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 the what oh my gosh, I'm totally
which,
blanking. Siskel and Ebert. Um,
yes,
and they were reviewing The Thing and talking about how disgusting it was, and they couldn't stand it and how terrible,
idiots.
you know? Uh,
You would think idiots, but clearly they're not idiots.
no,
Ridiculously well respected people for what they did. I have so much fondness for them. But
exactly.
Roger Ebert was sometimes a pretentious git who
Yes,
would
when it
just
came to, yeah,
he hated cult horror and stuff like that. He couldn't get into it, and I
yeah,
love that kind of nonsense. It doesn't mean I want him to die, or or anything like that. It doesn't mean I wished ill on him when he was alive, or anything like that. It's
yeah.
just
So
a disagreement, but he had his reasoning behind that, and I have my reasoning behind my things. It's why I don't like aggregators.
yeah, so this movie is really kind of showing the issues with Rotten Tomatoes and kind of aggregating reviews like this. And, when you do look up some of those reviews, they're very much critical of things without taking several factors of this film into account. It's very kind of a one note focus and a very kind of pretentious maybe attitude towards viewing this film. So I think that is
Yeah.
bringing a lot of those kind of issues to light, which I think is really interesting in terms of the world of film criticism. So yay for Mario for her on another level,
Yay
really
for
kind of
Mario.
bringing up some interesting things in terms of that. But yes, I had a blast with this movie, had a lot of fun with it, and I thought it was great. So
So did I. So did I. Well, Janine,